Early in the morning.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Cam, Topical Juice, and I'm back with a really interesting story. It's not every day you get to talk about a 13-year-old terrorist or a neo-Nazi terrorist anyway, let alone one that gets away with it. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into this video. Like the video for me, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell to be notified, and let's get straight into this. So the title should read something along the lines of 13-year-old neo-Nazi terrorist walks free, something like that. So I'm going to read a little bit from the article. So it says, the UK's youngest known terror offender has walked free from court after recruiting members for a neo-Nazi group. The boy, who cannot be named for legal reasons, was 13 when he committed his first offence and became part of an international online network of far-right extremists. He admitted 12 terror offences, including the dissemination and possession of documents on making explosives, guns and weapons. The teenager sat in court wearing a white face mask and blue coat, holding onto his grandmother's hand as he was sentenced on Monday. Judge Mark Dennis QC said he had descended into an online world of wicked prejudice and violent bigotry, joining neo-Nazi internet forum and speaking to extremists online. But he said the boy had not acted upon any of the terrorist manuals he collected or planned an attack and was susceptible to the influence of others. In June 2019, he joined the Feuerkrieg Division, FKD, I'm not too sure what that is, but it's basically a banned terror organisation. So he joined FKD last year, or in 2019, sorry. It has members across Europe, North America, and it says here that in the US, members had been charged with planning to bomb a synagogue, news network, and attack members of the LGBT community. The Old Bailey heard that the boy communicated with the group's leader, then a 13-year-old Estonian boy who called himself Commander. He was tasked with founding and overseeing a British cell of the group, FKDGB, and finding and vetting new members. It says that one of his recruits was actually jailed for acts of terrorism in November. Another one of his recruits was an undercover Fed, and the boy was arrested in 2019 over concerns he was trying to construct a weapon. So before I continue, what's so shocking about this story so far is the ages of the people involved. The fact that he was tasked with heading a British cell of the group at 13 years old. He was tasked with recruiting people. He actually did recruit people. He recruited 17-year-olds, 15-year-olds, people who actually are in jail for terrorist offences. This is what this kid was capable of. But I really want you to focus on the empathy and the sympathy of the judge. I really want you to pay attention to how the judge perceives this terrorist and how that impacts the decision to let him go. It says the teenager from Cornwall had collected a significant amount of terrorist manuals and far-right material, including manifestos created by the Christchurch and San Diego shooters. Since October 2018, he had been active on online platforms expressing racist, homophobic and anti-Semitic views. He talked about gassing Jewish people, hanging gay people, and wanting to shoot up their parades, the court heard. The defendant also commissioned a Nuke London poster which bore an image of an atom bomb cloud explosion over the Houses of Parliament with the slogan, "Sterilise the cesspit that you call London." The teenager had significant vulnerabilities, including personality and development issues stemming from his abnormal childhood and had been socially isolated, Judge Dennis said. He told the Old Bailey that a custodial sentence would have had an adverse effect on the boy's mental health and create a risk of self-harm, and that he took account of his guilty pleas and expressions of remorse. I quote, "The focus has to return to the fact that the defendant was only 13 and 14 years old at the time of his offending." He goes, "A non-custodial term would best serve the need to ensure the critical rehabilitation process is successful in his case and the public is protected from any future offending at his hands. The boy would be given a 2-year youth rehab order and ordered to undergo counter-terrorism interventions, as well as being banned from contacting extremists or using any internet-enabled device that cannot be checked by youth." Now, I want to ask you a very, very real question, a very genuine question, and I know the answer to this anyway. I already know the answer, but say it in your head. If this boy was not white, and he was black, brown-skinned, or called Ahmed, or had a beard, do you think the judge would let him off so lightly? Do you think the narrative would be, he's young, he was impressionable, he's got his whole life ahead of him? Do you think that narrative would be there? Do you think your Daily Mails and The Suns, and do you think they would be having the same narrative? Deep his offences. He hired, recruited terrorists that are jailed for terrorist acts. Is that not similar to, shall we say, gang members who groom young kids and get them to do crime? But those same gang members that groom those kids will be in jail for 10 years. And those kids that got groomed, they're not spared for their age. They're not spared at all. Those little black kids are in jail. No two ways about it. But our little neo-Nazi friend here, who for 3 years from the age of 13 to 16, recruited, spoke about killing Jews, spoke about killing disabled people, killing black people, all in the name of looking cool, he told the judge. Oh, he didn't mean it, he just did it to look cool. He is spared any jail. Let's look at what else the judge said. Judge Dennis told the boy that if he commits further offences, he will not have the excuse of naivety or immaturity and would be jailed, adding, you have the opportunity to put this behind you and redirect your future. Would the judge be saying that to anyone else? Talking about a difficult upbringing and socially outcast. So what about the kids in the inner cities who really are dealing with social and environmental issues here, but who are called thugs and this, that and the other? The Daily Mail only released a story a couple days ago about drill artists that are in jail right now who are making money from Spotify. And they're pushing this narrative now that Spotify are making money from criminals. Shut up! Like, can people not see the clear narrative here? Like, can people not see that when it's one demographic, they can get away with stuff, when it's anyone else, they can't? Clear as day. Now you've got a narrative now that Spotify are profiting from drill music and gang violence. Okay, so aren't Netflix currently doing a top 10 murder documentary or something like that? With what's that guy called? What's that serial killer? Is it Ted Bundy? Netflix, they got a whole serial killer murder top 10s right now, trending on Netflix. So would you say that Netflix are profiting from murder, rape, and the torture of really affected human beings? Like, but Daily Mail won't do a story on that, will they? It has to be about how drill music and how Spotify is now, what? No one's even complaining about that. No one's even. But do you see how it's one rule for one and one rule for another? The only thing I ask for in this world is consistency. Me personally, you know, I don't care if people in the comments are gonna say, "Oh yeah, but he's young, he's 13." I don't give a shit. At 13, none of us were doing that. At 13, we were playing football, breaking our arms from climbing walls and trees. We weren't recruiting for a terrorist organisation and doing things like this. I don't care what upbringing you've got, talking about looking cool and how, oh yeah, he was about to leave he said in court that he was looking to leave and all this naivety. He was doing it for 3 years before he got caught. But he walks away scot-free because the judge felt sorry for him because he was young and he was impressionable. If he was anything other than white, he wouldn't have got the same privilege. No chance in hell. If you lot keep thinking that I'm talking about race and I don't give a shit, you can unsubscribe. I will keep drumming this into you until you let it sink in that the world is so inconsistent and unfair. So anyway, that's another video done for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm sure I'll see you later today anyway. Hopefully for a more cheery video. Peace.